AFTERBUZZ TV Network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Shameless After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Shameless After Show.
Welcome, everybody. Bing is for doing. We're here doing Season 3, Episode 9.
Yeah.
Frank the Plumber. That's the title of the episode. What an amazing episode. I'm your host, Phil Svitek, joined alongside Reunited.
Yay!
Welcome back, Dre.
Your host, Drea Renee.
Welcome back. And we, of course, have JJ Jurgens joining us. And you guys remember her from, obviously, the show, but she made an appearance last season in the finale, Laura Wiggins, a.k.a. Karen.
Hello.
Dun, dun, dun.
We got you, Karen, and obviously we're going to get into everything tonight.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of feel bad now. I was going to kind of, you know, get into to the... I was going to be a little bit angry, but now I don't know if I can be as angry because of what happens.
They gotcha. They got me.
Yeah,
They did.
When it came in tonight, Phil was like, I have a bone to pick with her tonight.
I did
and now he's all soft, like,
Yeah.
oh, wait.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, this is going to be the most uncomfortable subject for me in the world. Hopefully, Martin, I expect you to chime in more so than normal. Martin, who's in the booth running the show.
I'm scared, but okay.
Circumcision. We're obviously getting into Kevin. What I liked about Kevin and V's storyline is we're kind of getting at least away from the baby, so we're not hitting the same note.
Right.
Just not this note.
This is an awkward note.
What's your guys' take on circumcision? three women, and
I'm so afraid to
Martin,
share.
speak up at any time.
I don't have an opinion yet, so I'm just gonna keep listening.
Well,
That was not valid.
what's that?
That was really not fair.
Well,
I don't feel like talking about it, so you guys can talk about it. Sorry, that's what just happened to us.
what's fun about? I mean, what I like that the show. What's fun is that the show did go there,
They
and the fact
totally
that
went there.
and the fact that they had actual reasons on both sides.
Okay, I'm from the Midwest, so not really something I really even learned about until coming to California. I gotta say, never seen one. I've never experienced.
Never?
No.
The first one I ever saw was uncut. The first one I ever saw was uncut, so I thought they kind of all looked like that. So the next guy, I was like, well, where's your little hat?
So like,
It's the original packaging, supposedly.
Exactly. I mean, I've only seen that one ever since. So he's from Argentina.
what did you prefer?
I prefer uncut.
Well, what's I don't know. Well, it was interesting to hear Fiona's argument of like, you know, you don't want to go down on a guy if he's been uncircumcised and stuff like that. You know what's funny is that Kevin actually wants the circumcision.
I know. I thought it was going to be the other way around, weirdly. I thought they were going to be...
Well, it's the same thing with the slave sex. You thought,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
They
They're
always
just
for it.
so
Very true.
reversed.
And you also have Veronica's million jobs she's had, so she has all these experiences, so maybe it is healthier, and she knows it's healthier.
Right.
And Kev's a bartender, what does he know?
He didn't even know what a W-2 was. He's like, "What's that?"
So I mean, again, it was nice that they went there, and I give them credit for being smart about it. And
Right.
the smartest thing, and we'll obviously talk about this, is the Fiona storyline. So the fact that tied into that and expanded to that level, you know, shows how good writing that is.
Yeah, it's great writing.
Are we off the subject?
Yeah, let's move
Everyone's
on.
like, let's just stop talking about it.
On to Fiona.
All right.
I stated my piece.
So by the way, you know, I mean, so Fiona. How do you guys feel about her with this brand new enthusiasm for a job as a temp?
I love it. I think it's good. It made me feel good watching her on the subway. She feels like she's normal now. She got an 8 to 5. She's getting a new outfit. I'm happy for her. I like it.
Totally agree. I was happy to see her be in like the professional world and trying to survive in there. And I liked it a lot.
She's coming into her own a little bit.
Well,
I was just gonna say it's a subject I feel like is nobody can find a job right now, so I think it's fun and kind of inspiring to watch her go out and find a job and make mistakes and stay in there, you know?
Well, what's fun is, you know, we've kind of seen her run the gamut, you know, at first. I mean, she was cleaning shit.
Yeah.
Now, you know, then she tried to go for as a promoter, right? And that didn't work out so well. So now she's kind of finding her footing in this whole grand scheme of things. And, you know, she's being successful at this job.
Yeah.
And as scolded as she was by this woman, you know, she got praise from her boss, which was, you know,
for being herself, which I thought was really cool.
Exactly. So I like that she's finding that footing. And let me ask you guys this. As mean as Jimmy was about the dress in the beginning, it was still the right call.
Yeah, that was the right call. She
Yeah.
couldn't have gone in there like that. There was nothing wrong with what he said. And the fact that she thought that was, I'm like, dang, are you that far detached from the work world? That's not okay. But because she comes from like the club world, I think maybe she thought that was all right.
She still should have known.
I know. Sequence for 8 to 5? I'm like, okay, girl.
How do you guys feel about the coworker that is all about Frank's gay movement? We'll obviously talk about that at length, but
Wow. That guy was interesting.
Actually, let me rephrase the question, if I may. 'Cause, you know, so we're kind of seeing, we got introduced to a lot of people in her workplace. What do you guys think? Is anyone going to present a problem to her? I mean, with Break Bobby, you know, there was that whole issue. Now, with the boss, how do you guys interpret that sexual attention, or if that's the right word?
I see an issue coming up. I see some flirtation and maybe Fiona getting away from Jimmy a little bit.
I actually hope that happens.
Me too.
Actually, this is the first time that there's somebody else, and I've always been a Jimmy fan, but I'm done with the way he's treating her, and I think it would be a great time for her to hook up with the boss.
Yeah,
hook up
he's
with the
hot,
boss.
too.
Yeah, he's hot. He was nice. I liked his approach. Like, yeah, everything about that workplace I thought was good for her, and I still don't like the fact that Jimmy's like not being truthful with her and has this other life, and so I think she should go ahead and hook up with the boss.
Yeah, get it.
What about you, Laura?
Well, I already know too much. I know all. Until the end of the season, I know nothing. But it's interesting to see her get out on the market like that, and to see how, because she's decided to take care of these kids, now the life is passing her by. And even though we don't want that to happen for her, it's sort of the choice she made. So, because she wants custody of the kids. So this is sort of a reoccurring theme, is that she's stuck taking care of everybody else. Everybody else gets to move on.
Right.
That is true. What I in terms of Jimmy, what I don't like is, and I think this is where it stems for you, JJ, is that he's self-loathing now.
Yeah.
You know, before it was that confidence.
Yeah.
And now it's just self-loathing, pity me, and all that stuff. And you know, Fiona, again, she said it harshly, but in episodes ago, she said it, but it was in the sense of, okay, look at my life. What I could pity my whole life, but I don't. I move forward.
Right.
You've come across the first kind of bump in the road. You know, granted it was a big one, right? His father's gay, but all right, deal with
Like
that.
no one's dying.
Yeah.
Get a grip.
Yeah, and I think what she used to be attracted to was he was like rebellious and he was stealing cars and he had this like bad boy side to him and stuff. And now he's just kind of like, I mean, in the last few episodes, he's really been a pussy. Like
Yeah,
he
he
like
kinda
doesn't like that the job's been. Yeah, it's like the job's been too tough for him. He had to run out while she's still in there with the bugs and stuff. And it's like, no girl wants a man like that. Like if you're
No.
stronger than your man and you're in there dealing with bugs and shit and blah blah blah, like then they start become unattractive. And that I think so. That's why I think where Jimmy's at right now.
And you know, she's always been able to rise above it and learn. Whereas, you know, okay, yes, it's granted it's a different job working at Starbucks, but you can still learn.
Yeah.
You know, it's doable for you.
But I think it's like what his what's his sidekick's name? The guy, I can't remember his name,
I
but
don't actually know his name either.
Oh,
You know?
Beto.
Beto, that's
okay.
right. They're just different. Like he's not used to that type of life, you know. And I don't think he's gonna ever settle in. That's why he keeps giving those faraway looks. It's just not his thing. That puzzle piece does not fit.
What did you guys think of their conversation? You know, I really liked that conversation happened at that moment, because they, you know, it could have been where they just keep repeating this beat with Jimmy, but to have Beto intervene like that, I thought that was good conversation. It's what Jimmy did. I'm surprised he actually did let him go off, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah. And I think that's gonna. He might leave now. So he wants to like move on, and maybe Mr. Mike Pratt. I wrote his name down because he was so hot. The boss. I know, he was really cute. Maybe that'll be good for Fiona. Help her move on.
So I mean, I didn't realize what kind of was going through Jimmy's head as he saw the ambulance, but then obviously it clicked when he arrived there. What do you guys? I mean, will it be tough for Jimmy now? Like what's trying to think of how to phrase the question, but
will it be tough for him to leave?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I don't think so.
It seems like a simple decision now, but he is going to be leaving a lot behind. I mean, you know, go back to him, you know, at the start of the season, he was so great. He made the kids lunches. Like, he was a great stay-at-home dad.
Which I think he tried. He tried to do it.
But he was great at that.
Yeah, but that's just not in him. He wants to live that life with the doctors and the girls. And
I think he needs to go away and experience that and then realize that that's not really where he'll find his true happiness.
And maybe
then come back.
Right. No, he did. It's sort of been something they've never been able to prevent for the Gallaghers, because that's what Fiona didn't want, is for it to get to this situation. Because now, you know, it's changed their whole dynamic, even as much as with Steve in the picture, not Steve, I'm sorry, Jimmy. So Jimmy one. Sorry. But, you know, Lip has actually been able to start having his own life a little bit more. And now Lip is leaving for MIT. But the man of the house, Jimmy, is going to leave now. So it's definitely going to cause tension in that world, that Lip now needs to be home with Fiona also.
Right.
Whoops.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I mean, you know, it's an interesting parallel between Mandy and Lip. And not that I want to fully break into that just yet, but in the sense of how they had their conversation of, you never asked me, or, you know, you just kind of did all these different things. You know, where Fiona did all these different things, and, you know, as Jimmy says, she never asked him any of these things. So, you know, if we're to take anything from that relationship, I think there's going to be obviously a huge blowout coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've gotten so many teasers about this in our news and gossip, but, you know, it's been a very slow build, which I like, because then when it hits, it's going to hit really hard.
Oh, yeah.
Right? No.
She's like, I don't know.
Nothing, but any way that you would expect it to be, how it's going to work out, it's just not going to work out that way.
Of course, it never would.
Yeah.
Why would it do that?
I mean, that's the brilliance of the show. I mean, honestly, I would.
We're seeing a new cycle in the show. It's definitely turning on a new cycle. We're getting new characters, new storylines, new people that are coming in on this journey with Fiona and Frank and Lip and the family.
She's like, that's all I can say.
That's all I can say. How big can I be? That's how big I can be.
Well, before we move on to the next subject, I want to take the moment to thank you guys for rating and commenting. You guys continue to do that every week, and we really, really appreciate it. It's again, why we're doing this. We're trying to build a community here at AFTERBUZZ TV with super fans like you, and you know, and you know, the cast members that we've had. One of them is you. That's why you've returned.
Yeah.
You know, they have a fun time because of you. Exactly.
Yay.
Because of you guys, and we love doing it for you guys. So continue to rate, comment. It gives us validity, which we like. We need validation in LA. If you've never been to LA, we need validation.
Yes, we do.
All right. Before we get into the whole full-on gay movement, let's talk about Ian and Mickey.
Oh,
so sad.
This was such a heartbreaking story.
I totally teared up. I tried not to bawl in there. I was like, I'm not going to do it. But if I was at home by myself, I would have had a box of tissues. That was so hard to watch.
It was very hard to watch.
Oh.
Well, let me ask you, that was the most insensitive way of finding out about it. And you guys had a big issue with Mandy in particular, not helping out Ian.
Because he helped her out with Lip. Remember, he got in Lip's face about her, and she acted as if she like didn't know or didn't care. It was very strange to me and insensitive. I wanted to punch her in the face a little bit.
I mean, your take, Laura, was that Mandy was just too preoccupied with your character, Karen.
I think that Mandy has a lot of confusion in her head. I do. I think she has the craziest storyline that I've ever seen. I mean, it's awesome for, Emmett Greenwell was such a good actress because she's got to juggle the dad and the abortion she had that lived, you know, as stood by her. I mean, she's been through so much. So by this point, it's like, I don't know how much she cares about romance. I just think she loves Lip, and I don't think it has anything to do, and I think that's why she is still sleeping with him, whether or not she knows about Karen or not, because she loves Lip.
Right.
Enough to kill for him.
Okay. Dang. Yeah,
So,
maybe she was just preoccupied.
Yeah, I'll give her the benefit of, I mean, Karen's not an easy thing to handle. When Karen comes, she's a tornado, so I could totally see that. But just that scene, that fight, and that outside of that warehouse, just going from a technical standpoint, the way it was shot, you know, the music, the sounds, everything like that, just brutal.
Yeah, and just the facial expressions.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Amazing.
Facial expressions on who? I mean, obviously both.
I thought, yeah.
Both.
We always go back to this. We joke about this, right? The look, right? What look was Mickey giving? Was he giving a look of "I'm sorry, but I have to kick your ass"?
Yes.
As a subtext, like what?
For me, it was kind of like, I really do love you, but this is what I have to do, so I'm going to disguise that I'm in love with you and beat the shit out of you, and like just blocked off. But it was, the look was not on his face like before, but it was, yeah.
You could see the love.
Still there. He still loves
real
him.
quick. Real quick.
So obviously we don't get that kind of backstory necessarily. I mean, we saw what happened, but you know, in terms of the decision, what's driving this decision for Mickey? Is it the father? Like what?
Yeah, it's the father, and he's a dude. And he's supposed to beat people up, and he can't be gay with his brothers. That's like not okay. That's totally driving everything. That beating from his dad, I think that just shook him. That messed up his whole world.
Is there hope? I mean, you know, I mean, Ian had the greatest argument, right? You love me and you're gay, just admit it. And obviously he couldn't.
He couldn't do it.
Is there hope for them? Like,
I just don't know how easy that is in that type of neighborhood and that type of.
I think they might rekindle. I think he might pop back up, maybe kind of apologize or something.
But can Ian forgive him?
Oh, that face when he was crying. I don't know. He was brokenhearted. I mean, I'm sure he could.
And it was just it was a nice juxtaposition, right? Everyone just downstairs having fun, and then we weren't expecting that, and just that sad face beaten up.
All the men were crying this episode. They were all bawling, like, or had these like teary-eyed moments.
Yeah, because we got talking about circumcisions and stuff. That's a shameless joke.
Well played.
But I don't know. I'm going to think it's going to be very hard for Ian to forgive.
Yeah.
JJ, you're kind of quiet on this one.
I think he can do it. I think it's like what Debs was saying. If my mom came back and told me she was sorry, I love her, she's my mom. I think he loves him, and if he really, like, you know, apologized and really wanted to make a go at it, I think he'd forgive him.
Yeah, I think he would too.
Okay.
I think he would melt his little heart a little bit.
Laura, what's your take? I mean,
I think Ian will explore that until he finds something more reliable, but he has sort of a want to change Mickey, which I think Mickey wants to change, but he can't, and he doesn't know how to. That's not really in his way. But I think that Ian really wants to change him, so I think he'll go back because he hasn't done his job yet. He hasn't changed Mickey.
Yeah.
all right, gay Frank, gay rights movement. This was, I mean, this was very fun, and again, it just continues how well spoken Frank can actually be on subjects and how manipulative.
Accurate is not racist. That's my favorite.
That's him, but you know, I mean, he said that throughout kind of his history, which was nice. What's funnier is that Chris was writing these things actually down.
Yeah. Chris. So cute.
Oh my God, his face was so darling. He was so happy to have him around. I'm surprised he wasn't a killer. I was like waiting for that to happen.
No, but that would have been again. What I like about it would have been stereotypical, and I don't like it when shows do that. And what's credit to you guys, wherever it stems from, it's you guys never do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never what you think is going to happen.
Never.
It's the rules.
It is.
I mean, even we'll go in and we'll want to do that TV moment you've seen a lot, and then it's not in there, and you've got to make a different choice as an actor, and you've got to go into this very uncomfortable place, but it's so liberating in a way because there it is.
Yeah, it keeps the audience on their toes, like.
So who? I mean, obviously it starts with the writers, but like how does it fully get to that point? I mean, do you guys ever kind of have that moment of like, all right, this is just too stereotypical. Like, how do we change this? How do we divert away from that? And who's kind of like, we here at AfterBuzz have the last line of defense, right? So who's the last line of defense on Shameless to make sure that doesn't happen? Because I can't remember a moment that it has.
I think we all play a part in making sure. I mean, before we get the scripts, they're already great, but we're allowed to stay after at the table reads and say, and this is not a typical television thing. This is just the production company that we work for, and they'll let us kind of have our input. So a lot of the times, Bill will see something or Emmy, and they'll come in and say, I think that's a little too far or not far enough. So.
Oh, that's nice.
I mean, we've dealt with so many things on the show, so many issues. Last year Frank was sleeping with, what did we call her? Like Puddin' Face or something.
Butterface. Yeah.
And then he killed her, and it was just like it's stuff like that, But so I halfway answered the question. I answered it more in the beginning of it.
No, but I'm glad, again, as you said, it's not typical of shows to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they kind of give you that freedom to allow you, because again, it just shows in the show that it's never gone that typical.
Never.
I mean, even when he killed her, we thought it was a beautiful moment that he did it. So,
God, he's such a good actor. I love him. And this episode made me love him more. I don't know why. Gay Frank, I like him. I really do. I like Frank.
Because,
he's so helpful, Gay. He really is,
The karaoke, it was awesome.
I mean, again, you kind of look at...
The problem is he's not. So. He has 5 children.
Exactly. Not that means anything, girl.
But again, what's awesome about Frank, he would argue from a utilitarian standpoint, no, because he right? It's for the best, for the masses. So what he's doing doesn't matter whether he's gay or not. He'll do it.
But it's the best for Frank too.
He's so convincing.
It's always the best for Frank.
What he said.
And that's and that I think that's what made us like him in this episode. The fact that he shared that truthful moment, which he really does.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad. And how accepting were the gays?
Oh my God.
You mentioned it, like everyone's hated Frank for so long. I mean, just go back to the bar. How many gay jokes were said? Now that he's finally there, everyone was like, hey, have a fun time.
All he heard was, I'll buy you drinks, and so he went over there. That's all Frank heard.
Hey, he got a blowjob, and he liked that too.
It's his audience, He just speaks to his audience. That's it. It doesn't really matter. He lives in the moment.
Exactly. Absolutely. Whatever he needs to be at the time. That's what he said.
That's right. The sad part though was Chris in all of this. We all like Chris, right?
Yes.
What was Chris like on set? I mean, he was an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Did you get to interact with him a lot or not really?
He's the one that Frank is living with?
Yes.
I only had one quick scene with him, but he's the most normal guy ever. And when I met him at the crafty table, I didn't think he would be funny at all. And then I see him work, and I can't stop laughing. Like, before the table, he's like, who's this guy? And then that was my small town being like, I know what I'm doing, but I don't. He's hilarious and such a creative person, he just deadpan, creepy, but just so happy to,
Yeah, he did such a good mix. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's a Bloody Mary, Frank.
Yeah. And what's fun is, again, did he? I wonder if you know this. Did he kind of study Sheila in a way, because he kind of played it off? What was nice, kind of like Sheila.
Oh
You know what I
did.
mean?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Where again, Frank just needs someone to take care of him, and Sheila's always kind of.
I don't think he did, but I know that him and Joan both knew each other before we ever worked on it, because you know you could just tell that they were like did the hug thing and like good to see you.
Okay.
And he might have done a little bit of it, but I don't think he did it on purpose. I just think that was the best way to go with that character.
Great. He was great.
I feel bad for him. I mean, his poor mother had to get involved. I mean, this guy's life is just ruined. He's losing roommates and.
Wait, so was he gay or was he not gay? He was gay.
No,
he's not gay.
Oh, he's not gay.
No, he had to convince up until last year.
All right. I always thought he was just like trying to hide it. All right. Okay. I was confused.
Yeah. But obviously it's going to go further because another opportunity comes up for Frank. So.
Right. Of course.
We'll get more into that in discussions.
You know, fame changes people, so. But not Frank, so don't worry. But
it's just
next
an opportunity.
episode is so funny. I
so
can't wait
excited.
till next week, too. I wish they would just play them all.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, especially.
I want to wait.
I know. Well, anyway. All right, let's before we get into the Mandy blowout, let's talk about what happened inside the house, right, with your character, and you know, just how the aftermath of Sheila. And I talked to JJ because you were here season finale last year, and you gave us the perspective of Karen, and you suckered me in. I was like, oh, Karen's a nice person. And then she comes back, you know, we've been waiting for this, and then she comes back, and, you know, we're all like, wow, Karen's back. It was one of the most shocking moments, and I give you guys a lot of credit because most TV shows would have had it at, like, episode 2 or 3, and the impact wouldn't have been as great. And now, I mean, the aftermath of this, I'm trying to formulate the right question. But why did she do what she did? I don't know.
Well,
defend Karen, if you will.
How?
Okay. No, I mean, I think Karen's not so bad. I think she's drawn that way a little bit. You know, like I think she's got there's a lot of things that have happened in her life that are. It's just a different perspective for her, but she's definitely turning into quite the selfish person, especially leaving and. With all that anger and bitterness, and she just takes off. I think I can't really get into understanding all the baby stuff because I've talked to a few people that have been in a situation in a bad neighborhood like that, and I understood why they don't want to keep the baby in that situation, just as a mother, but she's not obviously a maternal mom. No. But I do think there were some... I think that a lot of that anger and bitterness came from not being able to do what she wanted to do.
So let me ask you, and I want to follow up on that, but you know, with her return, there's obviously a goal. What is that goal for Karen?
The goal is because Karen loves Lip, and she cannot help it. And I don't think she can help it. I think it's been since episode like 1-5, you know, where she goes, what are we? And he goes, we're just friends. And she's you know, sad, and then just decides, I'll just keep sleeping with you anyways. I'll change your mind. You'll eventually love me. And then, you know, the story was told a different way because of, you know, we can't go that far back. But in this season, she got Jaime taken away, but I think she had this like delusion that she'll be able to trick her mom, and they'll have a happy life and go back to normal. So was it
obviously when you first saw Lip, it went back to the phone call. Was it the phone call, the voicemail that changed your mind, and that was the deciding factor?
Absolutely, because he was so passionate with that phone call. It was just such a heartbreaking phone call, and I think she had to come back and try to either clear her name or see if he would come and be her boyfriend.
Right.
So.
I totally thought he would. I thought he was just going to fall back, you know? I mean, I know they ended up having sex a few times, but I thought he was just going to leave Mandy right away as soon as he popped back in.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, that would have been the obvious.
That would have been
the obvious writer's choice.
Right. Of course not.
I thought they were gonna have Mandy and Karen just have a cat fight.
That's what I thought
I was
too.
like, me and Emma are like, we'll beat each other up. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're kind of scrappy, you know. She's British, I'm Southern, so we're like, let's go.
That's definitely what I thought was going to happen
I
at the end of the
even get
episode.
straight
I won't
up.
jump there, but that's, yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was gonna jump out with like a bat or something and beat you
It's
up,
going to go down.
or a car.
Staying on the Sheila subject, as soon as, obviously it wasn't your intent, or maybe it was to hurt your mom.
Yeah, Karen.
Yeah, I mean, now that she knows the truth, how does that change, you know, the sort of plan or your relationship, you know?
It's so difficult for me to really be able to, because the way I played it was just, I'm really tired of this. I'm really tired of having to take care of you all the time, and I really wish somebody would take care of me. I really don't know what I'm doing, but who gives a shit?
Right.
And then Sheila is so sad, and she just goes back into that depression. There's no fighting, like, I'm gonna call them up and say that I got tricked or swindled. She just starts laying on the couch, and, you know, Deborah ends up having to stay home from school because she doesn't take care of Sheila. And that's not the first time, I think, a child has stayed home from school to take care of Sheila.
I see.
So I think it's just sort of like, come on, let's get up. Let's do something, anything today.
Did your perspective change when she did come into the bedroom and apologize for how she was as a mom? Like,
That
or
was such a
no?
gift, even just to read the dialogue. It helped me as a person, even just because she was saying, I'm sorry, it's not your fault that you would be who you are. And it's not your fault. And I think Karen is always angry. What's wrong with me? Why does everybody hate me? If they're going to hate me, then, you know, I'm going to get tough and just...
Give them a reason.
You know, I'm going to give them a reason to hate me, exactly.
Yeah.
And then she hears that from her mom, and then she doesn't even get to respond, really, because she thinks Liv has texted her. But I think that Karen has a lot of devotion to her mother, but it's starting to... She's not as codependent as the Gallaghers, I guess.
I mean, what was, you know, we sometimes forget now that we're seeing Sheila, especially in this season, you know, kind of rise above things, but she brought a good point of, you know, she wasn't there early on, you know, at your school functions. I mean, what do you attribute, I mean, what does Karen blame kind of this all on? Obviously, you know, season one, the father thing like that, but it seems like it stemmed beyond just that, right? It stems from a very early age. I mean, I'm trying to get to know Karen. Karen's not an easy person to know.
Yeah. I know, and really the reason why they have Karen in this show in the first place is so we can get to know Sheila a little bit better, and so we can watch Lip react to love, you know, and to figure out what his place is and how does he love somebody and does he want
I mean,
that?
Lip's as confused as I am, mind. Don't, just letting you know, especially after tonight's episode.
Yeah, I mean, he gets his, he's definitely busy with his social life this season, you know? And also taking care of the kids and the family, but he's got Mandy and, sorry, where are we
you should ask her the question we always ask. So do you think you would be better, are you better for Lip or is Mandy?
Well, after tonight, I would say he's not good at really picking out women right now.
Right.
You know, it's either Monica and he was even, it's like, okay, and it's kind of Freudian, you know, you're attracted to your mom, you'd be like your mom, you know.
Right.
But, you know, Karen is kind of close to Hurricane Monica, you know. That would definitely be the type of life he would be living, so Karen's not a good idea. Mandy's great for him, but she could be an awesome lover for him because she can take care of things and doesn't need him, but at the same time, she's
a psycho.
Yeah, at the same time, she's willing to kill somebody. And this is the second time she's been willing to kill somebody in 2 episodes.
Right.
So, you know.
I was convinced Mandy was the right choice until the very end, just recently. And now I'm turning because I really did not like Karen coming in here today. I was like, oh my God, this is like awful. But now I'm just seeing she's just like a broken girl and she only knows how to like deal with anger. But maybe now she's opened up since Sheila apologized. I hope, right?
Well, I mean, she has a bigger worry now.
Or now since getting smashed.
Yes, none of that stuff will really ever be completely addressed. Karen will be completely changed after this episode. You'll never see that side of her ever again. But I am in till 12.
Did a good deed. Mandy did a good deed.
He did. She did. I mean, it all kind of will work out, and obviously Mandy does have like some intuitiveness to get them out of that neighborhood, which I think is everybody's main priority. For her is to get out of the neighborhood. For Lip, he doesn't know. He's got he has a different family than she has.
Right.
So what exactly, let's talk about this scene, and I'd love to know how you guys shot it just from that standpoint, but from a character standpoint, what was going through Karen's mind as she was walking to meet Lip?
Just excitement, and we're gonna make this right, and I promise, that my mom's getting better, I can get better, we'll be fine. Just let me redo this whole thing, let's do a redo, and you can get to know me a little bit differently. But so it's just like really quick, like whatever I have to do, I'm gonna do this. I've got to get him back. I'm excited that he still wants to talk.
It was kind of like Fiona on the subway. She was just like excited. It was similar to that. And I didn't even connect that she was really in love with him. I guess like from the first season, I felt like Lip was always like a bit of a toy.
Right, and I think a lot of people saw that.
Yeah.
But it was mainly because a lot of it got side-railed with the whole sex addiction that Karen had after her father calls her a whore. She might have had it before that, but that wasn't really how we were thinking season 1. She was sort of a hippy-dippy, like, woo, let's go in. Like, this is fun, and I like being a girl, and all this stuff, and then...
Took a turn.
In hindsight, is that why she ended up with Jody? Is because he's such a sex addict. I mean, when that was unveiled, oh my God.
Zach, oh my God.
No, the scenes he's had to do.
Oh, Zach. He's such a good sport about everything. Nicest person, best sport. But he was talking to me and like, during my birthday, I think it was like episode 5, I hadn't even come back, and he's like, Laura, you have no idea what's going on set right now. There are batteries, and they're not going where they're supposed to go. I didn't even say it that way, but... Oh dear.
Did he kind of know how you guys would, what your first reaction of this season would be? The fact that he's basically trying to suck himself off and you just open the door?
That was hilarious, that scene.
Oh my God.
Was there a heads up on that?
I would have been a baby about that. I don't think I could have done it. I'd be like, no way.
He's so flexible. Ooh.
Good job. I know, right?
Right? Can you do that? It's so weird. Phil.
No, because I want to hate Karen, and then she comes in here.
Oh, I totally hated you.
But I've totally got my like nerdy actor way about me, where I've just kind of gotten to know this on a different level, just because I've had to really, this is all based on real people in the long run. So I'm always nervous that if the real Karen Jackson ever turns the TV on or whatever her name is, she's like, that's not what it was like. You didn't even think about this and this and this. So I try to think about all the aspects that really go into bad behavior when we see people act terribly. What is motivating that in them? And and it's sort of that debate. Are there bad people, or does it just end up that they have experiences that make them bad?
Yeah.
And circumstances.
Yeah, because if you look at Debbie versus Monica and then Karen versus Sheila, it's just, what makes a person...
It's so awesome, or awesome or sweet or likable or not likable, and Karen's just not very likable.
No. But she's coming from a broken place. When Sheila was saying she wasn't there for all of her events, I thought about that. I was like, what would that be like as a child? Your mom can't go, and then your dad's kind of a weird... You know what I mean?
But Karen doesn't handle things well, and I think if you don't like her, that's completely fair, because just because you have a hard life doesn't mean you get to act in that way. Doesn't mean you can act out like that. So it's not okay, and she can't treat people that way, and when she does, somebody finally had enough of it, Mandy had enough of it.
Yes, she did.
I think it's also that when you do it, you play it so great, but you have this, like, you're so innocent and sweet looking, but then you have this look when you do the devious stuff. This is like, oh my gosh, she's such a little shit,
Exactly.
But I think it's awesome.
I love it.
I mean, when we talked about this a little bit as we were watching it, but when you kicked whatever they were building, Liam, Debs, and Sheila, and it was funny because you said how Liam, the actor, he was actually upset about it.
He was making a macaroni puzzle, and I just kicked it out, and he goes, "Hey!"
That's so
I think
cute.
it was Harrison. We have like 2 little twin boys. They're so cute. But he was like, "Hey, come back here and clean this up." He was mad at me all day. I was like, "I'm sorry.
Do
I know I did it 3 times in a row, so you don't believe me, but I'm sorry."
Sure.
That was going to be my question, how many times he did that, if they kind of understood it. But going back to the car crash, how did you guys achieve that? And I mean, that was obviously a bit, if you guys had to choose where to spend money, obviously that's where to sort of spend it was, and it came out great in the sense that it looked good, but it was very
great
painful to
dead
watch.
face. Yeah, great dead face.
I cannot wait till now I can finally post all these weird photos I have from that scene. They will be on Twitter, but just not yet because I'm doing this right now. But we had 3 Karens, so that was we had
3 Karens as in go
we
ahead.
had a dummy Karen. We had a stunt double Karen, and there's me. So those were our 3 Karens, and we tried to have the dummy hit, but the dummy just kept looking really fake. So this rock star girl came in and got hit.
No, she didn't.
By the car.
Wow.
Shut up, 15 miles per hour. So that like twisting over the car, I wish she'd be like, yeah, I did that, but no. That was the stunt woman that was so talented, and she
Get
just
out! No, just standing there and got hit.
Oh no.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
God.
she didn't have a helmet on. She had a wig on, so she didn't get to wear a helmet. But she had football pads on and all that. But still, I wouldn't put on football pads and get hit by. I was like, I don't even want to get hit by this at like 5 miles per hour.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the stuff I did was like they hit me with like a crash mat. So when it just does that quick, bam, it's the crash mat, and then it was so crazy. Mark Mylod was our director. He's the one who's mostly he directs most of the episodes, and he was so smart and just had a storyboard of exactly how we're gonna do this, and we spent maybe an hour and a half on it, and
An hour and a half is quick, by the way.
That is quick.
Yeah.
In film or TV
That is
terms?
quick.
Yeah.
That's fast.
I mean, they had 2 more scenes to do that day. So, because when we're in Chicago, we do all the episodes. We do 6 episodes at a time. So,
Oh, wow. So you got to keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it came out. It came out intense.
spooky. I didn't know I was gonna handle it because last year when I had the like botulism or something, I had all these like weird fears of like weird ways you can die. 'Cause botulism is so weird, and I was like, that's so scary. You can get hit by a car. And I'm never pissing off anybody's girlfriend again.
Not like Mandy.
Life lesson learned. Anything else that you guys kind of want to ask?
Well, I read that. Go ahead. I read that you were Southern Baptist, so I know like doing these scenes must have been like, I don't know if that like is difficult for you, or when you got the script, were you like, what's going on here?
It's so interesting because when I started the show, I was pretty atheistic, and then as I went on with the show, I started to kind of like come into my Southern Baptist roots, which I'm not Southern Baptist, again, Presbyterian, which according to my grandma is barely religious, but I love her. But she, it's really interesting because it really challenges me is like with my faith, because I can't, one of the things we talk about is not being judgmental, and so this really puts that to the test. I can't judge people, and then any time in the show you want to say, oh, people don't do that, that's fiction. Like, this is all stuff that people are dealing with. Maybe not the same family all the time, but those neighborhoods are that rough.
Right.
And I was taught this. You're looking at this character intrinsically in the sense of, okay, so what's the core value here? Love, right? She loves Lip, and this is just love taken to its absolute extreme worst.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, I mean, that's why I can't truly hate you.
Aww.
Small pass.
No.
You can.
JJ, anything?
Oh, I just was looking at your future projects, and there was this thing that came up about you sitting in my car singing in the 405. You're playing guitar, singing. I was just gonna have you talk a little bit about what you have coming up, and some other projects that you do that people can see you in.
I am so excited about music. I don't have too much, Yeah, you were telling me you play drums. So,
Yeah, I was like, let's jam.
So cool. I mean, I love music. I play all the time, but I'm not necessarily, it's not like my job right now or anything. It's just for fun. But that song was awesome because I got my Twitter followers to help me write it. So I just started sitting on my car on the 405, guys, let me know, or let's write a song. And everybody had the worst reaction to the 405. And I was like, it is famously bad. I was like, it never gets better.
Never.
But yeah, I have a few videos up online. So check them out. Even if you don't know about the 405, you've been in traffic before.
Okay.
So.
And what's the site? And what's your what's your Twitter handle as well?
It's at LauraSlade11.
Nice.
And the website is?
I don't have a website. Just
Or where can they check that out?
Just go on YouTube and 405 Laura Wiggins. I call myself Clementine. And sometimes the real Clementine, because there's already a Clementine. It's totally not right to act like I'm the real one. But my grandma's name was Clementine. So.
All right. Well, why don't we get into news and gossip?
All right.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so my news this week is, thanks to AfterBuzz TV, I know that Emmy Rossum was on Project Runway as a guest judge.
I didn't even know that.
We'll see.
Well, there you go.
Now you
I
learn.
gotta go watch it.
So that's all I have.
All I knew was she was also at the Lakers game, smooching on her kiss cam with her real-life boyfriend from the show.
Oh.
Look at that. Okay.
That's all I got for news and gossip.
You know, I mean, it's always tough with this show. I mean, you know, in terms of news and gossip. And
Oh, Bill's birthday was last Sunday? Or maybe
Was it?
Wednesday? I don't know. It was last week, though.
Okay.
Love him.
And do you guys still, you know, I know when we talked about season 1 when we had cast members for that season, you know, you guys talked about how you guys would watch the show together and things like that. Like, are you guys are obviously still very tight, but, you know, perhaps like, I know Zach's, you know, for example, shooting in South Africa. Like, what are you guys doing kind of now to keep that bond going now that the episodes are shot?
Gosh, we just try to keep each other invited to events. Emmy was really nice and invited the whole cast to come to her premiere for Beautiful Creatures. So I saw everybody there, and everybody's so spread out. So we just send each other a few text messages, or, you know, when you come into town, let's try to get coffee. But definitely not. We're definitely more busy we were before we got onto Shameless. It definitely has, you know, given us a lot of opportunities as actors. So
yeah, I mean, you know, I'm seeing all of you guys in multiple things. You know, for example, Jeremy, you know, the character who plays Lip, you know, movie 43 that just came out recently. So,
Right.
and I thought he did an amazing job in that.
But he did that, believe it or not, before Shameless.
No way.
Wow, he did. That was, or maybe he did it after the pilot, but it wasn't connected at all. He just had that on his own.
And
But
Steve
he's done a lot of stuff.
And Steve Howey is going to be on an episode of New Girl. I just saw him going to be on that.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's so funny.
Yeah,
I
that's what
wish
she
he was
said.
in here just because he can make really awesome jokes.
Well, congratulations. I think this show just continues to get better. So with that, why don't we move into predictions to see how shameless they can just be.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so episode 10, we're reaching the finale.
Yeah.
Where do we stand? I mean, here's my thing. I'm trying to figure out, because last season they ended really, really dark, and I think right now, you know, we're gonna get really, really dark. But hopefully, what I'm seeing is I'm predicting we're gonna end on a happier note.
You think so?
It has to. I mean,
There
yeah,
hasn't been too many happy,
As of
Right.
season 2, the
Right.
finale was so
Monica,
was
right,
was a
okay.
down note. That there has to be some joy in the season finale.
I hope so.
I don't know what that is. But that's what I'm predicting, and I like Frank and his continued gay movement.
I guess I'm going to predict that Fiona and Jimmy are going to break up.
I was going to predict a Fiona and Mike hookup.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see next episode.
Okay.
And maybe Lip's going to give it to Mandy, because we saw that look on his face on the bus. So clearly he knows that something with up with that text message.
It's pretty funny. I'm just saying I can't wait till 12 because it's really funny. And it's, yeah.
Funny in what kind of way? Funny can be interpreted.
All I'm going to tell you is that
breaker.
I get to be a princess.
Yay!
A shameless princess. It's not the same as I imagined.
I'm like, princess, in the shameless way. That could mean a lot of things.
I mean,
wide open.
I mean, you guys ended this episode with nurse porn. I mean,
nurse porn.
Well, how else do you want me to describe it?
I gotta say, it was great to get back to the nurse porn because I needed a moment away from the mom.
Yes,
so I like to go back to these fantasies.
Jesus, texting him. I'm like, what was that?
Yeah. Needed a
touch on
breather
that,
from
but-
that one.
I forgot they didn't even say anything about it yet.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about her texting him. Like, where'd that go?
It's because we just needed Kevin and Veronica to just be
Together.
We did.
Yes.
Please.
I like how they're the pinnacle couple.
Yeah.
Always
Well,
right
Married,
now.
Okay? It's okay. They're married.
what, the Holy Trinity is okay?
They can have nurse porn when you're married.
Oh, nurse? No. I agree. Just so we're clear, I agree with nurse porn. I do not agree with the Holy Trinity.
No.
As I refer to the act
What is that, like the mom, the daughter, and the bartender?
Yeah.
No,
Exactly. Yeah.
that was disturbing.
Shanola said it was going to be crazy. She did say that.
She warned us.
warned us.
We didn't believe her.
But then it got crazier.
Yes.
We thought that it had reached its pinnacle,
Yeah.
and it had not.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, rate and comment. We love it. We need validation.
Yes.
We're writing songs about the 405. We need validation. So once again, where can they find you on Twitter and also Instagram? Is it the same for Instagram as well?
It's at Laura Slade 11 for Twitter and at LS Wiggins for Instagram.
All right. And what about you, lovely ladies?
I'm at jjjurgens.com and JJ Jurgens on Twitter.
And for Instagram and Twitter, I'm Drea Renee _N.
And of course, we're here at AfterBuzz TV. So until next week, leave us a comment, I guess.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.